Welcome to All Wheel Driven, a podcast by Audi Club North America, where we explore all things Audi and the incredible people who bring it to life. All Wheel Driven is presented by XPEL, the official paint protection film of Audi Club. Welcome back to another episode of the All Wheel Driven podcast. I am your host, Joe Kucinski. Today we're talking about one of the most unique and fastest growing Volkswagen Auto Group events in the United States. That, of course, is the Lowe's Show. I was able to attend this year and last year as well, actually. And I am joined today by two great guests to share their perspectives on this wonderful show that we have. First, we have Chris Nellenback. Chris is from the Audi Club Eastern Pennsylvania chapter. He helped host the Audi Club booth at the main show this year. Also joined by Cameron Purser. He's the founder of the Audi C7 Owners YouTube channel and online community. Cameron also organized a special Audi meetup during the lead-in to the main show at the Lowe's Show this year. So definitely excited to get their perspectives on this event. We're going to be talking about what makes the Lowe's Show so special for Audi enthusiasts, what stood out this year, and where things are heading next. So, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining. And let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about the Lowe's Show. So, guys, how many years have you been going? Have you gone since the beginning? Was this your first year? Just a little bit of your background on the show.
Chris, you take it first because this was my first year.
Okay. So this is the last year was my third year. I missed the inaugural one that was held inside the mall. But yeah, as far as going to the show, it's my third year, first time participant. The first year I was a participant. Second year, I kind of tried to help out the national chapter of Audi Club at their tent. And then this past year, the Eastern Pennsylvania chapter, since it's in our area, we decided to take it on and host a booth. And it's been a great experience all 3 years. So it's just ever evolving and gets bigger and bigger every year. So it's always a great turnout and always a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah. Cameron, how about you? You said this was your first year?
This is my first year. Yeah, I've obviously known about Lowe's Show for a while. I think actually the first time I really learned about the specifics of it was actually at the National Audi Club event at Tail of the Dragon a few years ago because Jamie Orr came out to that, was hanging out, and obviously I'd seen pictures, but that's where I really kind of got an interest in it. And this year I just had a bunch of people asking me if I was going to be going, and I was kind of on the fence, but I was like, man, it does look just like such a cool show. And knowing the history of Volkswagen Audi shows in general, they're amazing for about 7 years, and then they typically blow up and huge. And I was like, I better go to experience while it's still, it's big, but it's still, a really cool event that hasn't really, spilled over into just being, too big. And so I wanted to make sure I got out there, and so I made it up this year with a big group of guys that had an amazing time with. So I was really happy to be there.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad you came up. Yeah, so I found out about just a couple of years ago. Last year was my first year, and then I went again this year. So I'm actually involved in the local Porsche Club region, and Jamie came to one of our membership meetings and spoke about this Lowe's Show that he's putting on. Last year came to one of our club meetings and told us all about it. Sounded amazing. Invited a bunch of us to bring our cars, for the little Porsche section. We had some folks go and do that. And I was just blown away from what he was able to put together in Pottstown, which for folks that are not familiar with Pottstown, it's not exactly the epicenter of car enthusiasts, but there actually is a pretty good grassroots car group out there, even though it's kind of a small town. There are some decent shows out there, and Lowe's Show is just kind of takes over the entire city for a weekend. It's really cool. So I'm glad you guys both made it out this year, and we were blessed with the best weather you could
Oh
possibly
my
ask
goodness.
for, right? It's like 70 degrees and
Yeah.
sunny the
Yeah,
whole
everybody kept
weekend.
telling me that that was not the norm, that it's usually 95 degrees and humid. And man, I was, especially being from the Southeast, I was loving the weather that weekend.
Yeah, it was perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. The last two were that very hot, very humid. So welcome change.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Um, what were you guys like looking forward to most about the show? Was it seeing certain people or certain displays, or was it the cars themselves, just the community? Kind of what really is the one thing that kind of drives you guys to attend a show like that?
Um,
Cameron, you want to go first?
so yeah, I'll try on this one since it was new to me. I for many years I've gone to Helen, Georgia. If you guys have never been there for Alpine Bulks Fair, which is ran by Eurotripper, because that's only about a 6 hour drive from me. And it's kind of a similar show in the sense that they take over this small town and there's meets everywhere. And I've been going to various shows there since 2014. So I heard about this one and it seemed similar, but the big draw for this one to me to actually come was the majority of the people that follow me tend to be in the Northeast. And a lot of my channel partners are located in the Northeast between New Jersey to Massachusetts and in between. But I had a lot of people asking me to, and I was like, well, I'll get to at least nothing else, get to meet a ton of people that I've interacted with for literally years that I've never met in person. And then on top of that, seeing the pictures of what Jamie does with downtown Pottstown and seeing that Pottstown is just all in on making it happen. It looked just so cool. Didn't know I was going to get into going into the actual area. Never been there at all. So that was, a little bit of mystery, but just the draw of being able to come and meet all these people and hang out with everybody and just interact with them. That was the biggest reason that pulled me to go up there.
Thanks, cool. Chris, how about
Yeah.
you?
I'll kind of split into two hats, like the automotive enthusiast and Audi enthusiast part of me. It's just showing up, meeting the people that are around, seeing all the crazy builds or just the one-offs that, I mean, you walk 10 feet one direction, it's like, oh, there's an RS2. And you walk another 10 feet the other direction, and there's an imported Lupo with a VR5 swap in it. And it's just like, what is happening down here?
Right?
So that's really cool. From the Audi Club side of things, obviously, show up, have a presence, sign up members, and just pretty much tell folks what the Audi Club's all about. A lot of folks don't, if they don't know about it, they definitely don't know about all the benefits and perks. So it was a great opportunity just to meet like-minded Audi enthusiasts, Volkswagen, whoever, and sign them up, tell us about the club, and then just hang out with everybody at R10.
Nice, nice. So Chris, just staying with you for a moment. What
Sure.
you go to a lot of Audi events, obviously, right? What makes Low Show kind of stand out in your mind? What makes it unique from some of the other events that you attend?
I'd say a lot of the other events are a little smaller scale. There's a couple cars and coffees that we try and attend and just meet and greet with folks. We also poll our members to see what kind of events they want to do. So obviously we want to cater to the people that are active members.
Hmm.
I would just think the job that Jamie does, again, setting everything up, getting all the different vendors. I mean, again, a lot of other cars and coffees or other car shows have local vendors and some of the mainstream ones, but with Low, there's it's kind of different level. All the support, you go up to a vendor tent, talk about or ask any questions about their product, whether it be like liquid moly or you go on APR or 03.
Hmm.
Like it's more than happy to answer your questions. So just the sheer scale of what Pottstown has to offer and Low Show has to offer is unique. And again, just seeing the crazy cars people bring out. I know this was the record number of R32s and Golf Rs that showed up. They were talking about that at our volunteer meeting. I'm pretty sure I saw either a Cayenne, I think it was a Cayenne with its roof chopped off down in the Porsche section. So, I mean,
I,
there's,
I know that Cayenne actually pretty well. I know the guy who actually cut the roof off of that car, and yeah,
yeah,
it was destined for the junkyard, and they just took a sawzall to it and said, "Hey, let's have some fun before we trash this thing." And yeah, off went the roof.
yeah. So it's just, again, one of the larger shows in our area and just something to cover and have a great time with everybody. So and it's, again, the last 3 years have been great. It's just ever evolving in the scale of it. So I'm just looking forward to seeing how it again goes from here.
Yeah, yeah. Cameron, as a first timer, what did you think? What was the main kind of standout for you compared to all the other events you go to?
Yeah, there's a bunch of things. I mean, like I kind of briefly mentioned already, the closest thing I could compare this to is Alpine Volks Fair in Helen, Georgia. Having said that, as similar as they are very different as well. And me and my group of guys were talking about this. Alpine Volks Fair is in a mountain town in Georgia. It's a German themed now mountain town. It's got mountain roads that everybody's going out and trying to hit the mountain roads, and police are trying to control that because people are definitely having fun. But the same thing, there's a bunch of pre-meets that everybody attends. But the big difference with Alpine Volks Fair is, in order to get into the main show on Saturday, you have to be chosen at one of those pre-meets. So that show, the focus is very much on the car specifically and a little bit of competition. That's how it is. People are still having a great time with everybody, but it's really driven towards that and the mountains. Low show, for me and my group at least, very much felt it was oriented towards the people. I mean, obviously, incredible cars everywhere. I mean, you are seeing a whole level of car builds that you will not see anywhere else. And it was amazing to see these things. But the people you got to interact with, as Chris mentioned, all your vendors that you deal with on a daily basis as an enthusiast, people you're ordering from, people that you're maybe talking with on social media, you get to meet them. You get to interact with them and get to talk with them. I know that USP Motorsports had a guy, Diego, going around interviewing everybody, finding cars, interviewing them, putting it out there. So it was very much, for me, it seemed as very catered towards just the enthusiast community, their vehicles, and getting to have that good time, And so that was amazing. I obviously got to host my event, which gave me a whole other perspective. And then I also volunteered. That was the one really cool thing as well that Jamie does, is he asks for volunteers. You apply for that and they choose a few, and I got chosen to volunteer. So that was a whole other side of it that I got to see that most other people don't get to see. And so got there at 6 a.m. on Saturday, helped put up banners, set up stuff on the streets, got to see the streets before it got crazy. And then me and Chris ended up parking the entire Audi block. That just kind of fell in our hands there. And I think we did a pretty good job.
You guys did great. I mean, and it's
did.
funny you mentioned the setup. Talking to the shop owners in Pottstown that are open for the show. They're amazed. They're like, a day ago, none of this was here. They're just astounded at how quickly you guys just kind of come in and turn, that street into just this amazing show. It's just a complete transformation in very little time. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It's great. So Cameron, just staying with you for a moment. So you mentioned the event that you set up leading up to the show. Talk to us about that a little bit. Your event, what kind of inspired you to do it, and how that went.
Yeah, so basically when I finally told my community, I guess you can call it, that I was going to be going to Low Show, I did the application, got selected for the show, put that out there. I was just inundated with messages from people saying, you need to host, especially for me, I'm very much like C7 generation oriented. They're like, you need to host a C7 event. And I was like, I don't know. It's my first year. I feel like I'm stepping on toes if I come in here asking to host a meet my first year. Like, no. There's not an Audi pre-meet. We need to have something, and people would love that. And there's a whole lot of C7s attending. So I got with a couple of my guys that I talk with regularly that live in the area of Pottstown, actually, and started setting up some things. A friend of mine, Tim Gilbert, and then Deutsch Auto Garage. He has a YouTube channel as well. He's in that area. His name's Eric. And I reached out to them. I said, if I try and do this, will you guys help me? And they were 100% on board. And so the first thing I did, I said, I can't have a meet unless I have a place to host the meet. I don't know anything in the area, but I know that the best meets happen at breweries. And so I asked them, and they rattled off a few, and I started Google image searching, or like satellite searching, looking for parking lots. And I came down to Sly Fox Brewing in Pottstown. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that Jamie hosts a pre-meet on Thursdays there. I had no idea about that. But I was like, let me just go ahead and shoot him a message. And I messaged the staff and got a hold of the manager there. And I said, hey, Saturday around noontime, we would love to host a meet there, between noon to 4. And he was like, yeah, we actually host one on Thursday with Jamie. And I was like, oh, well, if you're already doing one, you don't want to do another one. He's like, no, we'd love to have you guys, We won't have a ton of extra staffing, but, as long as you guys are okay with a little bit longer wait, because they also have a kitchen there and they have awesome food, great beer, awesome food. But he was 100% on board. And so I was able to take that, and I reached out to Jamie and I said, look, you don't know me. We met briefly at Tail of the Dragon, but you don't know me, but I run this channel. I've been asked to kind of throw together an Audi meet of some kind. Would that be okay with you? I'm not trying to step on any toes, but, don't know if you have anything else going on. And he immediately was like, no, that would be fantastic. Do you have a location? And I told him, yep, doing it at Sly Fox. And so just hit the ground running after that. And I announced it, and we started basically telling people about it. And what we decided to do that made it a little unique, and this was inspired from Alpine Volks Fair a little bit, I said, let's make this fun. We're obviously not sending anybody to the show from our event like Alpine Volks Fair, but we can make it, pretty cool because Sly Fox has this giant grass field. They're on this giant cul-de-sac of businesses that aren't open on the weekend, so people can park on the street. But then they have a smaller paved area. And I said, let's make that an Audi VIP area. And since this is the first year doing it, it might not be as big as, other events. So we'll open it up to all Volkswagen and Audis to show up to come to the grass field. But the paved area right in front of the brewing will be VIP Audis that we choose. They'll have to apply through a Google form, and we'll hand select about 30 cars to go in there. And so that's what we did. And we had about 50 applicants, and we had everything from just crazy, amazing, just show quality builds to straight up race cars. We had Flum Automotive bring out their RS3. We had some other just wild stuff. And so that hit. And then the other half of it was I started reaching out to my channel partners. That's Jackal Motorsports, Rova Motor Oil, Integrated Engineering, TGK Motorsports. I said, hey guys, I'm hosting an event. Do you guys want to help sponsor it and, bring some booths over there? And they were all on board immediately, mainly because we were all staying at a house together anyways, outside of Pottstown. So it's like, I'm putting you guys to work. But they're great guys. I do a lot of stuff with those guys all the time. And so they set up their tents. We had everything done. And then we had way more people show up than we thought we were going to have. We had a ton of Volkswagens show up. We had obviously a ton of Audis because it was the only Audi-oriented meet. I think rotating amount of cars there, I think we were between like 150 to 200 throughout the day for a first-year event. And the brewery handled it amazing, even with a short staff. You didn't have to wait very long for food or anything. So that was just an amazing event. I had multiple people come up to me with all the people that were there and they're like, this is like my Instagram friends list that I follow in person. I get to meet everyone that I follow. They're all here, every single one. And that was like the best way someone could have put it to me. I was like, that actually, that makes a whole lot of sense for the Audi enthusiast community. You've got all these people here that, really invest in the community and they're all hanging out. So that was really cool.
Right. That's awesome. And they came from all over, right? They're not all just
all
locals
over.
for sure, right?
Yeah, all over. I mean, I came from southeastern North Carolina. I brought my friend Tyler Hayes, who runs a company called Void Carbon. He makes amazing wheels and bespoke carbon fiber parts. So he came with me. My buddy Travis out of Norfolk, Virginia, who he's just a staple in the C7 community. The owner of TGK Motorsports drove in and towed the only two manual swap C7 S6s in the world. He flatbed it. He put them on a trailer and brought them in from Wisconsin. Jackal Motorsports came from outside of Boston. Rova Motor Oil came from Jersey. And and then everybody else that attended, most of it was Northeastern people, but we had people from all over, especially on the East Coast.
Wow. So I'm assuming that exceeded your expectations. You were expecting this little meet and you had 150.
I was expecting maybe 50, right? 70 cars max. I will say, we already talked to Sly Fox and they said we're down to do it again next year. So if Jamie Orr will have me, because it's obviously not a actual low event. It's my event, but he was very gracious in helping me set it up. And so if they are okay with me doing it again, we're planning on doing another one. And I feel like that VIP application is going to have a lot more than 50 applications this year. So I think next year, the grass field and that lot will be strictly Audi only. And then anybody who is Volkswagen or anybody else, there's, like I said, that huge, it's not really cul-de-sac. It's, it's a loop of business. It's a business park. I'm sure there'll be tons of people parking on the street for that. But yeah, it was a fantastic event.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would say you can probably count on that group being doubled next year, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I had an amazing time. It was such a good time. That's
awesome. So Chris, hopping back to you for a moment. You also played a role in the show, right? You were there for representing Audi Club, and certainly nationally and our chapter, right? You hosted the booth there. What was that like? How was manning the tent, if you will, and meeting the people, face to face at the show?
It was great. I mean, from what I can tell, everyone that showed up, all the board members that showed up, and some of the other just members that volunteered their time, everyone had a phenomenal time getting there again, pretty bright and early, like Cameron said, around 6, setting up the tent, getting all of the merch that National had supplied to us, like posters, pins, stickers, and stuff like that. The typical things that sell really well at events like this.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want to deal with too many heavy items or like shirts and stuff like that where you'd had to send a ton of stuff over. But no, it was great. It was our first time actually. Again, last year we kind of helped the national chapter do it, and this year they're like, "Hey, it's in your area. Do you guys want to take it on?" So we agreed. We met a lot of great people. I recognized a bunch of faces from our earlier events this year that had signed up at last year's event. So we knew that, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's getting traction. People that are coming out to Low, they're signing up, and they're coming to our events. Again, like Cameron said, people came from all over. We were signing up folks all over the East Coast. We had a couple guys from Montreal that were signing up. So it's the benefit of the club. Once you get in, you can kind of go to whatever chapter events you feel like. If you want
Right.
to do track days, there's chapters for that. If you want to do winter driving and stuff like that, there's chapters out in the Midwest that handle that sort of thing. But yeah, overall, like everybody had a great time. Everyone was super relaxed, just getting to share car stories back and forth. Yeah, and I can't say enough good
Yeah.
things about the experience, and just looking forward to do it again next year. And there's just so much to do there for that weekend. Like Cameron had his event. I mean, I was seeing there were bike rides, there were night cruises. So it's just there's
Right.
something for everybody. So just being able to be a part of that was an experience, and we look forward to continuing to do that, and again partnering with Low Show to be a representation for the Audi Club North America.
Yeah. Right. Awesome. So, Chris, what might be an impossible question to answer, but the car or cars or vehicles, SUVs, whatever, that stood out to you the most at this year's show? Something that really caught your eye, made you kind of head on a swivel there.
Oh, okay. So the one I'll just start with this caveat: we did have a Best Audi award that the some of the folks at our booth went around, kind of voted, came back, convened, and then let Jamie know. One of our members actually made the trophy, which is phenomenal. We actually picked I think it was a 1990 Audi S2 that had come in, I think from New York, that the owner had just decided to. It had been sitting in storage. He was like, "I'm going to bring it out," and we ended up picking his vehicle. But again, all of the Golf Rs, R32s, the 40 year of Mark II Golfs down at the other end
Mm-hmm.
of the street.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of the builds, the engine swaps, the tucked bays, like it was phenomenal. Like full interiors done. There
Right.
were so many vehicles that were over the top. And right
Yeah.
next to our tent was an RS2. So it's like
Right.
you, everywhere you look, there's something for everybody. It doesn't need to be a massive budget build, or if you just throw a tune, some wheels, and
Right.
like that's your thing. Hey, more power to you.
Yeah.
So it's something for everybody.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we're what I liked about it is kind of what you were just alluding to there, right? It's the diversity that you see there from the cars and the people. It's just a whole mix of everything. A lot of times, and in this area, we're a little bit spoiled. We have a lot of it's a big car community. There's a lot of we've got the Ferrari dealer next to the McLaren dealer next to, right? So we have a lot of those cars in a lot of the bigger shows in this area. But you go to that and it's, three or four 911 GT3 RSs all lined up. And then, a bunch of, Lambos all lined up and then a bunch of Ferraris all lined up. And yeah, that's great. But what's really cool about Low is that there's so many cars there and almost none of them are the same, right? They're
Mhm.
all built, they're all custom, they're all, just passionately built by these people that just have a vision and just, dig in, and they put some work into these things that is unbelievable. You might think like, yeah, it's a Volkswagen. but you look inside and you're like, oh my God, look at this thing, right? It just blows me away every time I see it, that, what folks do. And it's really cool. It's a very nice break from the normal, like, just hypercars and supercars that, somebody just wrote a check and then they, drove it to a parking lot 3 miles away. These folks, there's the passion there. These are the enthusiasts that just love doing this stuff, and that's awesome to see. Um, Cameron, how about you? Was there a particular build or a car, or you certainly saw
Man, there
plenty
were
of them at your time
so
up
many.
here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was so many cars that, especially cars that like I follow online, that I got to see in person, which was amazing. The S2, the RS2, was the S2 you were talking about? Was that the gray one, like the silver color one, Chris? Kind of parked down by
I
the.
believe so. Yeah.
I think yeah, that thing was absolutely stunningly beautiful. It was stunningly clean. But seeing cars that have like worldwide recognition, like there was the Hill Climb Champion. That car was up in the museum on the second floor. Which, I mean, the museum itself was amazing. We haven't talked about that. The museum that they put together in the old dealership, that was just so cool. But this is going to sound kind of surprising, maybe. My favorite car is one that didn't have any work done to it. It was a almost, I think, perfectly OEM 2003 anniversary edition Jazz Blue GTI sitting on the top of the second floor of the dealership museum there. And the reason I say that is because that's the car that hooked me back in 2003 into wanting to modify Volkswagens, because I've driven a Volkswagen since 2003. I had a B5 Passat, and my really good friend that I met in college when I drove down to Florida, he had a Black Magic Pearl 20th anniversary. And now, like, it was 2003 when I went down. So it was brand new. And that just opened up my world and killed my bank account. And and I've gotten to own one. I owned an Amola yellow anniversary GTI, very short lived. It was in terrible condition, and ended up swapping that for something else. But my dream to have just in the garage one day is a beautifully, just excellent condition Jazz Blue 20th anniversary GTI. And so seeing that one up there, I mean, it was immaculate. And I think it had, I mean, it was incredibly low miles. I want to say 37,000 miles, but I think it was like
Oh wow.
3,700 miles. I don't know. It was super low miles and blew me away. But I mean, like you said, there's so many things out there that when you see the Lamborghinis, you see the Porsches come through, you're just not impressed. It's just like, okay, it's another car that somebody bought. I mean, like, yes, there are some that break that mold, but for the most part, it's just like, cool. I've seen pictures of you on the internet and it looks the exact same. But then you have
Right.
these cars where people do things with them that you would just never think of, and it's just like, man, that is so cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. Cameron, did you bring a car up to the show, or?
Yep. I brought my
Yeah.
2013 Audi A6. It was actually parked in front of the red RS2 until Liqui Moly got a little angry at that, because I parked it there, set it up. I was told to park there by one of the low officials, and then they put the arch up, and they didn't say anything until one of my friends came by and put a Rova sticker on it. And immediately after that, I started getting a phone call that Liqui Moly wanted me to move my car. And I was like, guys, come on. As I was sitting in line to get one of the pins, one of the collectible pins, I was like, I'm not getting out of the line. So my friend came and got my keys from me and just moved my car over next to the USP booth, which is great because they sponsored my engine build. So it was close to them. So yeah, I had my car, drove it up there, and had fun time driving around all week, and drove it back. So it was good.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. How about you, Chris? Did you bring anything to the show?
Not in the display area. I have a Mark One Audi TT Quattro, so it
Oh,
was
cool.
just off of the main area in the train parking lot, because I just had to bring over just items for the booth. But yeah, I
Right.
left it over there.
Right. Yeah, and actually, that kind of brings up a point I wanted to talk about too. There's the main show, but the thing is, so I went in we drove my wife's Golf all track wagon, right? So we just parked, 2 miles away and walked. But the amazing thing is that 2 miles away where you park, just out on the street, is just a lineup of really cool cars, Volkswagens, Audis, Porsches, all kinds of stuff. Just not even close to the show. Folks who just want to come and check it out. They're all bringing their Volkswagens and Audis as well, and you see some pretty cool stuff just out on the street, not even really part of the show proper. That's just how big it is. You just, normally if you saw the street like that, that would be a show, right? But here it's just kind of the parking for the kind of the normal people just to bring their stuff and walk around and check out the show. It's pretty cool. It shows just how much is out there, and to get into the show itself, that stuff is really special in there. It's really
I think
cool.
Jamie said he had 1,000 show cars. So yeah, whatever else is outside of that, I mean, there's at least that many.
Right?
And how many did we park on the Audi block? I think it was right at 100 Audis on the Audi block that we parked. I mean, and that was slam tight getting everybody in.
Oh yeah, there was no more room. So we were at the end of it. I know you and I were looking for small cars.
Yeah, we were looking for a lot of TTs.
Where can we squeeze you in?
Yeah, we were looking for TTs and sneaking them down, because what a lot of people don't, or they might not know if they've ever been, and what I didn't know good in getting there, and it makes sense, but I didn't think about it, when they were like, we got to do 100 cars in this block. And I was like, that should be easy. They're like, but we have to keep this entire lane open for people to walk through, but mainly for emergency vehicles to get through in case something happens. And I was like, ooh, that limits a lot of room and how we park the vehicles, But yeah, we got it done, and yeah, it was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It was funny to turn around and be like, where did these all come from? But all right,
Yeah,
we're all here. Let's go.
Because they first were coming through the intersection down by the Audi Club booth, but then Liqui Moly started doing their arch and they started setting up stuff in the intersection. So then they started routing people through the train station parking lot, but nobody told us. And so we have the feed coming from one way and then the feed coming in the other. We're like, hold up. We had to just kind of fall back and punt a little bit there to make sure we could get everybody in.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So talking about the community a little bit and the people, and instead of the cars for just a moment. So, Cameron, obviously with your event, you got to talk to a lot of people. Chris, you were at the booth. How does a show like this kind of energize the enthusiasts? Like what do you see from that? Do you see an actual effect that it has on people? What kind of what's your take on that and what it does to the community?
Yeah, there's a huge effect. I've been running my YouTube channel for, I think, 6 years now, which is wild. It's kind of gone by in a blur, and I've been able to host a pre-meet at like Alpine Volks Fair for a few years, and it's cool getting to do that. But with this one specifically, in my community, so to speak, I've kind of brought together a bunch of different companies unintentionally that have all kind of come together, and they work together to bring stuff to the community. And so that's Jackal Motorsports, that's Rova Motor Oil, that's Merc Racing, that's Void Carbon, that's TGK Motorsports, and Canadian Auto Performance. And these guys are all incredible people, and they're enthusiasts first, business owners second. And I love these guys. Like we stayed at a farmhouse about 30 minutes outside of Pottstown, and it was me, the guys from Jackal, the guys from Rova, there was Void Carbon, and it was like that whole group of people. We all shared this 9-bedroom house, and just that was amazing. That's some of my best friends in this, in this life that I've got, and I get to hang out with them. But bringing them, especially to like the meet that I got to host, as I mentioned, someone said, this is my Instagram feed come to life. These are the cars that I follow, the cars that are my inspiration, the people that built them. I get to actually ask questions directly to them and get to talk to these people and pick their brains about not only what they've done and how it can apply to my car, but what do you have coming next? And also, hey, I've got some ideas that you guys might enjoy, and bringing them to these vendors, these, owners of these amazing companies, and getting to see them. You can just tell like it meant so much for them to meet these people and to meet other people that they've followed forever. It was just like a bunch of friends that I've never met before, just hanging out as if we've been hanging out for, years. And so that was a very, very big impact, I think, for a lot of people being able to do that. And then it spills over into the show where you have all these vendors and everybody running around and getting to see even more.
Yeah. And, I'd like to get your thoughts on this, Chris, from a club perspective. Like when I walk around the Low Show, what I notice is, it seems like a lot of the younger generation, right? Mm-hmm. Younger folks, which I think is hugely important for, any automotive club, but any club kind of really at all. I mean, that's kind of the future where things are going, right? Did it seem like, the younger crowd to you are kind of coming up and engaging and were as excited about, the show as you see it, maybe other Audi events? Was it the folks that were signing up, were they kind of on the younger side compared to maybe who you normally see at some of these things?
Yeah, and that's a great point. Like the stipulation is, car club. It's all older folks that, okay, we'll come, go to a cars and coffee event, talk about cars, and then go home. No, like we like to do different drives and things like that. So when people would approach the tent, they'd be like, hey, what's the Audi Club? So we'd kind of tell them the types of thing we do. Like we try and do events once a month. They vary. Again, if someone wants to go into cars and coffee, cool. If you want to go to a drive, awesome. You want to go out for ice cream with us? Come on and join us. It's a hot summer day, nothing better. We do like museums and things during the wintertime just to keep it moving, but not necessarily to be outside freezing in a parking lot or whatever it may be. But yeah, just the amount of, we had anyone from, again, the older generation. We've had families with young kids, some of them where they talk about their vehicles helping, either like the kids are helping dad or mom do modifications or just like wash the car. So they're kind of getting into it in that aspect of it. You've got the high school or like early college kids like, oh, I just got my first Audi. I mean, it's nothing really new, but I just got one. I'm looking forward to doing all these modifications to it. And then like they can walk around the show and, oh, like I've got a B8 A4 S4. Oh, he's got an intake on it, wheels. And it's just the sheer, and again, obviously there's a lot of people, so the volume of people we talk to, but there's almost something for everybody as far as whatever, it doesn't matter what age you are and how, again, either obtainium or unobtainium your vehicle is, everyone's all there for the same reason. And everyone's more than happy to share experiences. If you want a shop to perform work, or a tuning company, or just which oil should I use in my car? It's got this many miles on it or something like that. So yeah, I would definitely say there's a very broad range of ages that came up to our tent. We kind of ran them through how we run things, and just encourage folks, they want to get involved, sign up. And then if you want to just be a member, that's fine. Or if you want to, again, help us plan an event, if we have the entire Eastern Pennsylvania region, so it can't be all places all the time. So we're just like, hey, if you want us to come out to your area, like let us know what's out there. Similar to what Cameron did for lining up Sly Fox and stuff like that. He's like, I'm not familiar with the area. Locals help me out. So yeah, we try and just leverage who we can, when we can, and where we can. And yeah, young or old, come on out.
That's great. That's great. Actually, yeah, go ahead, Cameron. Sure.
I was just going to follow up something, and not specific to Low, but my first North American Audi Club experience. Just to kind of, for anybody who might be watching this that isn't sure about how these events go or what to experience, the first Audi Club North America event I ever went to was the national event at Tail of the Dragon about 2 or 3 years ago. And Christopher May reached out to me and told me about it. And I was like, you know what, that sounds amazing. I've never done Tail of the Dragon either. I would love to do that. And so ended up making it out for that. And I think that event, we had about 150 cars take over. If you've ever been, there's Fontana Village and all the cabins and things like that. And I really didn't know what to expect. It was incredible. It was probably my single favorite vehicle event in terms of the experience, because it was so centered on driving. It wasn't standing in a parking lot. It was very much get out there with other enthusiasts. And it was so great because they had 3 levels. There was beginner, or people who did not really want to push the cars. They just want to go cruise some mountain roads. Like, yeah, we'll do Tail of the Dragon. We'll take it easy, but then we'll go do a cruise down the parkway. Then there's intermediate, it's like, okay, for the most part, it's going to be pretty easy. We'll have a little bit of spirited fun here and there. And then there was the expert level. I was like, we're moving. And I messaged Chris. I was like, because you had to pick which group you wanted to be in. And I've never been to an event. And I was like, what should I put? He's like, oh, no, I know you. Go with the expert group. I was like, okay. And wasn't really quite sure what I was getting put into. And then they show the group of cars that you're going to be in. And it was like 5 cars. And, they send people out to plan routes. These routes are pre-planned. You've got 2 team leaders. There's a front and rear, so there's a guy in the front that's leading. There's a person that's making sure nobody gets left behind. And it was an RS3, a highly modified RS3. It was my Audi. Merc Racing was there with his B8 S4 with his upgraded supercharger on it. a RS5, and then a Porsche. I think it was a GT4. I can't remember. It's been a while. I was like, I'm in a 4,000 pound Audi A6. Now, like, yes, I have a lot of work done to it, but these cars seem a little bit more nimble. And we get out there and we've all got walkie talkies, and it's like, okay, hey, here's the prep. We're going to go. And we hit the tail of the dragon, and we made it from the beginning to the end of the tail of the dragon, and we didn't get stopped by a single car. We made it from beginning to end in 17 minutes, which is really, it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then, you take off on other roads and do it, and some of the best driving experience, and everybody's very respectful, not anything over the top. But then the events for the meals, there was a breakfast that was done with the club. You were on your own for lunch, and then the dinners. You go in there and there's just tables everywhere. And, we sat, it was us, the guys from integrated engineering, because they flew out. They had, oh my goodness, his name escapes me, but he was he worked with Kim Block to do Hoonigan before he left, but he was out there and he shipped his RS2 over from California, and he was out there hanging out with people. And Charles from Humble Mechanic was out there. And, so we're just all hanging out, having fun and enjoying it. Great food and lots of giveaways and things like that. And it was just one of the most incredible experiences. And yes, there's a bunch of people there that just buy an Audi, don't touch it. They just like the car and they're just coming out there for it. But then you have the enthusiasts in there too that are a little bit younger that are out there having fun. So I highly encourage people to sign up at least for a year, try it out and go attend some events because it's a lot of fun.
Right. No, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that experience, Cameron. That's great. Chris, one of the things that you mentioned about Low Show specifically that triggered something for me was, you mentioned you've seen a car and it's got an intake and wheels on it and so forth. If anybody is looking to, if they've got a project car or something like that, or looking for inspiration for something, the Low Show is where you need to go, right? Because if you can't get an idea there, right, it's just. I mean, you just walk around like, oh my God, never thought of that. Oh geez, I wouldn't have tried that. Oh man, they make an exhaust. Look at that. Look at this. It's just like it's just overwhelming, right? Like you will leave there with more ideas than you have funds, I'm sure, right? So, it's a great spot if you're just thinking of, hey, maybe from anything from what kind of shift knob do I want to put in here to just a whole new engine. It's amazing. So that is one thing that I really enjoy too. You just see, you can just get inspired row after row after row. Like, oh man, I should try that. Oh, that looks really cool, right? So it's a great place to go to just get some inspiration for your own car, or maybe one that you're thinking of getting. Maybe if you're just shopping, you don't even know what model you want first, but then you see that one parked there, you're like, yeah, that's what I need. The Low Show is great for that. So that's my answer to the question that I haven't asked you guys yet, which is, for somebody that's never been to the Low Show before, what would you say to them? What would you say? Why should they make the trip in 2026 to go to Pottstown and check out the Low Show?
Oof. That's a tough one.
Tough one, right?
Yeah. I would say, and again, I know the Low Show is that entire Sunday, many, many cars. I would say the job that Jamie does with organizing things from the Thursday through the Sunday, you're going to find something. There's going to be something of interest for anyone. Again, like there was a bike ride, there was a breakfast meetup, lunch specific models. Like again, Cameron with the C7s. There's like, I think the one was a dusk, golden hour, like a golden hour cruise. Just sun's going down, just take out your car, slow, just all that stuff. And then just the main show day where you can again walk around, meet people, get firsthand experiences of either ownership or I've done this modification, I noticed this, or maybe that one wasn't really necessarily worth it. And then again, meeting people like Cameron who have the social media presence, Charles from Humble Mechanic. I know I saw Larry from MONYC. He had his recently restored GTI in the museum. And just different folks from like FCP and all the other vendors. There's just something for everyone. So you're hard pressed to not, if you're a diehard just a car person. You don't necessarily have to be any of the German or the German vehicles. There's something there for everybody. So yeah, I would say that just give it a shot. If you're in the area looking for something to do, head on over there and just see what it's all about. But you can say, hey, if it was for you, awesome, keep coming back. And you're just like, I went, it was cool, but not your thing, then hey, that's okay too. But just come out and experience it.
Right. Yep. Cameron, what do you think? How would you tell people like that maybe you're on the fence, kind of push them on on the other
it's
side
fresh
of
for me
going?
since this was my first year, So
Right.
my advice for anybody who's never been on the fence, one, go 100%, find a way to go and experience. If you can, make sure you can be there Thursday and plan on leaving Monday. It's worth it to be there the whole time because there are these early bird events. There are these early experiences. You can get in, you can get merch even if you want to go get stuff. You can get that earlier instead of fighting for it on the day of the show. Check out everybody that you think will be there. Find everybody's social medias and message them. There you go. Yeah. Message them, ask them if they're going to be there, do that. But what I really, really suggest is find a group of friends. Find a group of friends who you're going to enjoy the weekend with. Maybe like 3 to 5 people, trying to find a place that you can all stay together. There's a ton of Airbnbs like around the area. I shouldn't say ton. There's a very good amount. There's hotels. The hotels fill up fast. So if you plan on going, get your lodging early. Like I said, we stayed 30 minutes away. And at first I was like, man, that's a long way away to be from everything. But we were really happy with that because we could be in it or out of it, and where we stayed, we were on this beautiful farm with, Highland cows walking around and, it was very peaceful and tranquil, but in the ride over there is beautiful. The one thing that a lot of people don't talk about is how beautiful the area is surrounding Pottstown. Just rolling hills, cornfields. It's not, incredibly amazing driving roads because they're all 45 miles an hour or less. You're not going to get anything above that until you get to a freeway. But still, they're beautiful, scenic places. The homes in the area are gorgeous, really old stone-built houses. It was just way prettier than I expected. But get a group of friends, find a place where you can all stay together, and choose what you want to go to. Kind of have a plan of, I want to go to this event, this event, this event, and make it work and definitely experience it and come out there because it's nothing like it. Being able to take over that entire, about 4 or 5 city blocks, that's... You're not going to find that anywhere else. It's incredibly just amazing. And if you want to be in there parking in the show, just know that you'll be there all day. It is a long day, but it is so cool. And there's plenty of things to do, and bring a chair and just hang out. But apply early. That's the one big thing. Definitely apply early. Do everything early if you plan on going, but try to be there. Like we drove up early Thursday. So we got there about 2 to 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon. And I don't feel like we missed anything. And, we had all day Friday to hang out and see things. The majority of our day on Saturday was setting up for our show. We had to be at Sly Fox at 11. So we were up early cleaning cars, set up and do that show. And then I know they do the town's normal cars and coffee, I think, that Saturday night. And that's just tons of classic cars. Your typical cars and coffee type event, but on a huge scale from what at least I'm used to. And that's, a pretty cool thing to go check out. That's different than the Volkswagen Audi stuff that's going on. But and then if Jamie continues to ask for volunteers, I highly suggest volunteering. It gives you a whole other perspective on seeing how the show is ran and seeing what's going on, and you get to be there before the chaos erupts, and you typically get a pretty good parking spot if you get to volunteer. So yeah, definitely do it. It's awesome, and pray for cool weather when you come.
Right. Well, when you come up next year, Cameron, reach out to me because I'll show you some of I'm only live about a half an hour from Pottstown myself, so I'll show you some cool roads where you can.
Are you on the northwest side, or which side of Pottstown do you live in?
Yeah, I'm a little further west of.
Okay,
of
so we stayed
so.
northwest of the city. We were only about 15 minutes from Reading, and it was
okay.
It was really small area for sure, but because we did dinner at a steakhouse in Reading one night, and it wasn't very far from our farmhouse. So
right.
Yeah, it's beautiful over there, and yeah, I would definitely love to know some roads.
Some great roads up here. Some great roads. Yeah. Some cool spots to check out. But
yeah, absolutely.
Not to take anything from the low show because that is. It's just another aspect of it, right?
Exactly. It's another part of the experience.
For the weekend. Yep, and just drive around and There's some great roads to experience. Even if you just want
Mhm.
to go on a drive by yourself,
Yep.
it's cool.
I will say the GPS never
Yep.
took us back to the farmhouse the same way twice. Every single time we randoms, and you got to see something. I mean, I drove by a tank at one point. I was like, oh, that's a tank. That's cool. And that was kind of interesting. And the way that Low is set up with the town, like when you go into the town, you don't know what block you're going to come out on. And yeah,
Right.
it's something different every time you get in the car and drive around. It's interesting.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, Chris, Cameron, anything else about the show itself that you want to share with the folks that are watching? And
I
um,
just I can't wait to come back next year. I hope we get to do another event. It was a phenomenal experience. I don't have enough good things to say about it. Props to Jamie Orr and the entire crew behind Jamie Orr, all of his volunteers, because there's a lot of unsung heroes behind him that are helping him get a lot of that stuff done. That I feel like they kind of go under the radar, and they deserve a massive amount of praise. Like you said, what they're able to accomplish in such a short amount of time is truly just awesome.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Jamie and his team do a great job, and like we've kind of all been saying, volunteers make it happen in the end, whether it be the Low Show or any club, anything you want to do, club related. Yeah, it's all about the volunteers, the helping out, putting these great shows on, and yeah, looking forward to next year as well.
Yeah,
Hmm.
for sure, for sure. Um, Cameron, so for our listeners, where can they find your YouTube channel, your community? You got any
Yeah.
upcoming meetups or projects that you want to share?
So the main thing that everybody know me for is my YouTube channel, which is just Audi C7 owners. Kind of like the shirt says here. Hope I don't catch a cease and desist doing this, but I've had it there, and it is very much C7 generation focused. But the majority of my stuff applies to the B8 community, the B8 S4, S5, SQ5 community. Got some stuff for the 40T crowd, for the S6s, S7s. Gonna have a different kind of a direction because I just bought a daily, and this coming Sunday I'm kind of keeping it a secret. It's a surprise
Oh,
reveal video. Bought a car for
okay.
$250, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Nice.
So I talk about that, but that'll help me because I've got an engine tuned by a company called AM Tune down in South Florida, and that's Alex. He's probably, especially in North America, the most renowned performance engine builder, and he's one of the most renowned in the world, and just does crazy builds. And eventually, once I save a whole lot more money, I'm going to send the car back down there to convert the car from a supercharged car to a turbo car,
Hmm.
and I'm excited to do that. So that'll all be on the channel. But I've got Instagram. I've got a Facebook page, which is, everything from Instagram just basically gets copied over there. But I do admin a bunch of the Audi Facebook groups. There's a Audi C7ers Facebook group, which, believe it or not, I didn't start. I started my channel, and then I went to go make a Facebook group, and one already existed with the same name. But it was, so that's cool. But I'm active in there, and the majority of the groups that are focused on the cars that I deal with, I'm very active in all those, and people are welcome to message me anywhere. I'm pretty good at responding to people and answering questions. So yeah, that's about
Awesome.
it there. But yeah.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. And Chris, from Eastern PA Audi Club perspective, any events coming up? Things that we should keep an eye out for? What's on
Yes,
the
actually,
radar?
we are in discussion right now. We've got a scenic drive event up to the PA Grand Canyon, October 25th and 26th. It's Saturday, Sunday.
Cool.
We're kind of taking a foray into some longer drives to appease some of the members that like doing that. So yeah, October 25th and 26th this year, heading up to PA Grand Canyon area. And then October 11th through 16th of 2026, we will be hitting both the back of the Dragon and the tail of the Dragon. I think
Nice.
just we'll go start with the back, go onto the tail, come back from the tail, hit the back, and then come back to wherever you originated from. So we are sending out emails. We'll be posting on our socials on Facebook and Instagram shortly about those. So any members interested, we will be sending out details.
They
Awesome.
just
Awesome.
repaved it. The fresh pavement is beautiful on the Dragon right now. I took my
Nice.
son
Excellent.
there
We
for his
like to
birthday
hear.
in July. So my son, I took him down from Volkswagen, and he's like, I don't want a birthday party. I just want to go do mountain roads. So we took him to Gatlinburg and we went to Tail of the Dragon. And while my wife was dripping sweat from death gripping the car, my kid was in the back giggling. He's 7. And yeah, the fresh pavement on the Tail of the Dragon's nice.
Nice.
All right. That's good to know.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Big thanks, Chris, Cameron. Thank you both for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Be sure to check out the links in the episode description. Learn more about Audi Club membership and ways to get involved in the local community. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next time.